I got to, baby, not the French fry crumbs on my lip. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Zaria Brownlee for those who do not know me, and today I will be doing a upcycling video. For those who do not know what upcycling is, it's basically you take either some of your own old clothes, or you go thrifting and you get old clothes and you take them and you turn them into something new. And that's what I like to do. That's the base of this channel, is because I have a love for clothes and I wanted to come to YouTube to show how I do some of my clothes. And so yeah, today I don't really know what I'm making, but I know I want to make something, you know? So we're just gonna see where this video ends up taking us, and we're gonna hope it's a good place. But I will show y'all what I will be upcycling, and hopefully somewhere between now and me actually upcycling it, I will figure out what I want to make. So yeah, so I will be taking an old pair of basically MC Hammer pants. You know when they were popular? Yes, shut up. They're still really comfortable. I just don't really wear them that often unless I'm like lounging around somewhere. But I'm gonna show them to you guys. But I will be taking them and turning them into something. You know, hopefully my creative juices start flowing about now, and I'll figure out what I want to make. Okay guys, so these are the pants that I will be upcycling. As you can see, they are MC Hammer pants, and I used to wear these all the time because they're super comfortable, but now I don't really wear them that often. And I chose them because they have all this extra fabric, as you can see, that I can transform into something. So yeah. Not your basic two-piece set. I'm gonna insert like a picture of like my inspiration or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, inspiration. I'm not sure if I want to make that exact top. I doubt I will, because I don't wear it anymore. But it is cute. I don't know. We're just gonna make the skirt first, and we're gonna see what I can do with the extra fabric and what type of top I can turn it into. Yeah. So just watch me, or don't. Whatever you choose. Okay, and as you can see, I'm trying to find the best way to cut it to get the most use of my fabric out of it. And so I just thought it would be best to cut the legs off first, which in all actuality I should have cut the waistband off first so that the fabric could lay out like more straight. But I just went ahead and cut the legs off. I folded it in half so I can get an even cut all the way across. And I just went ahead and cut the legs off. Y'all, sometimes when I do this, I accidentally cut my comforter. My last comforter I had, I accidentally cut it because I was cutting fabric on my bed. I was so upset. Now it's a hole in that comforter, but it's okay. And so now you can see I'm trying to figure out this waistband situation. I'm trying to decide if I want to cut it off or seam rip it off. I originally start to try to seam rip it off because I thought it would give me more fabric. But as you see, look, I'm trying to show you the little seam that I'm going to seam rip off. But in all actuality, I just end up cutting the waistband off because it was quicker. Okay, so my video wasn't actually recording when I thought it was. And this is just like the baggy part of the pants that you saw earlier. And this is what we're going to be turning into our skirt. So yeah, just watch the video. Okay, so now we're turning that baggy part of the pants into our skirt. So first I lay out my fabric, of course. And then to create kind of like a pattern for the skirt, I use a skirt that I already have that I like how it fit. And I just basically cut a pattern out of that. And of course I leave a little extra fabric on the side for some seam allowance. And yeah, if you don't have like an actual pattern for something, just use something that you already like how it fits you, and just basically just trace that on whatever you're making. It makes it super easy. And yeah, I feel like I have to make a disclaimer that I'm not a professional seamstress or anything like that. I took a costume class in high school and my granny taught me how to sew. So nothing I do is super professional or super neat. I just do what works best for me because I'm not super technical on all of this. But yeah, I just flip my fabric inside out because you know when you sew inside out so you don't see the seams. And then I take some pins and I pin my fabric together so I can keep it intact for when I'm ready to move it to the sewing machine. And now I am at my lovely sewing machine. My mom got me the sewing machine before I left to go to school because she knows I like to sew, and I usually just use my granny's back home. But she got me my own, and it's just a Singer Simple. I'm guessing that's the model of it. But yeah, so right where I pinned down my fabric, I'm just going to sew along those, removing the pins as I go because, I mean, that's how I go. That's how I sew. I know I've seen some people like sew over the pins, but I feel like that's not good. I don't know. One of my costumer friends should tell me that. But I've never sewed over my pins. I just take them out as I go. So yeah, I'm just sewing along both sides to create the skirt. And as I go along, I like to cut away all the extra thread, like from the sewing machine, like from the start and the finish points. I just cut off all that extra excess. Why can't I talk? I cut off all the excess thread. And now I'm going to be making my, what is this called again? Y'all, I just completely blanked out. I'm assuming the seam. I forgot what it's called, but like, you know when you fold stuff over so you don't see like the cut, so it looks more neat. I hope that's making sense. But basically all I did is I fold over on the top and I just pin it down. Y'all, I'm about to Google it. Y'all, it's called the hem. I don't know why in the world I could not think of that word of what I'm doing right now. I literally had to Google it. But yes, I'm just making the hem, period. So you just fold over the fabric and you fold the fabric over itself. I hope that makes sense. And then you just sew along there. So you get a nice clean edge to whatever you're making. In this case, I'm doing the top and the bottom of the skirt. So yeah. Okay, so this is my skirt after it's all put together and hemmed and all that. And now this is the part where it gets kind of confusing. So I took an extra scrap piece of fabric, just that strip that's in the middle, and I'm placing it in the center of my skirt, and I'm going to pin along either side of that piece of fabric. This is gonna become like our, you know how like clothings have. What am I saying, y'all? Honestly, what am I talking about? Y'all, the word is ruched. I think I'm saying that right. You know how like shirts or skirts have like the ruched like drawstring thingy? That is what I'm doing right now. I don't know why I keep forgetting what I'm doing, but I will. So yes, you saw me pin both sides down, and now I'm going to sew directly down the middle of where I pin. So like in between my pins that I set along, I'm sewing directly in between those. I know it's kind of hard to see and it's really hard to explain. This is way harder than I thought it would be. But yes, I'm sewing directly down between those, and then I'm going to sew along where I pinned it at. So yes, y'all just watch, because clearly I'm terrible at explaining stuff. So just watch closely on what I'm doing. So all together, once you're done sewing that piece down, you'll have 3 lines that you've sewn down in 2 little like open slot pockets. You'll have your seam going down the center, your seam going down the right side, and your seam going down the left side. And that will create 2 little pockets that you're going to thread through. So then I cut off all my extra strings, of course, extra threads, period. Cutting away extra fabric too, because it looks weird under clothes sometimes. And then, as you can see, I'm taking extra scrap fabric that's like a really long string, and I'm taking that bobby pin and I'm going to tie that string of fabric to the end of my bobby pin. Usually people use a safety pin for this, but I didn't have one, so I used a bobby pin. And I'm threading it through that first slot that I created when I sewed down that strip of fabric. And I'm going to thread it all the way through the top. As you can see, threading it through, threading it through. And then once I take it out of one side, I'm going to just loop it right back down the other side. Okay, so I'm done with the skirt, and now all the extra piece of fabrics I have is that waistband and just these little scraps. So I have to come up with some type of top to make, and so I just decided that I'm going to make just a regular black tube top. So of course I flip my fabric inside out, and then I sew along the bottom to close it off because it was just open piece of scrap fabric. Pin it first, of course, so I don't lose track, and then I just sew it together. So once I'm done sewing it, I just flip it inside out so you don't see the seams. And then I'm moving my sewing machine out the way. So I'm going to lay that piece that I just sewed back out so I can create another like makeshift pattern for it. Put my other pieces of fabric for the other side of the tube top because you need two pieces to sew together. So I'm just making a quick little pattern out of the first piece that I what is the past tense for sewed? Sewn? Soon, sewed, soon, sewn, sewn. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. Quit playing with me. So yes, I'm just making a little pattern to sew together for the other piece of my tube top. So once I've made it, I'm going to now just take both pieces and sew them along the side to create a full circular tube top, period. This part is easier compared to the shirt. I feel like common sense will tell you how to make this. But yeah. And now you just flip it inside out. Cut the threads, of course. Period. And then, when am I gonna flip this thing inside out? Come on, Nazar, you take it forever. Yes, now you flip it inside out, and now you have your tube top, period. Now, before I hear anybody mouth, yes, I know the skirt is way too short on me. That's why I'm not turning around, because I got a little bit too much of everything to be seen on camera. But I will be putting it on my roommate Zion because she's so much smaller than me. But this is before I did the little bleach tie-dye thing. So if you don't want to bleach it, you don't have to. So now to tie-dye it, I just rinse the fabric in warm water first. And then I swirled it, of course, and rubber band it off into the sections. You know, like when you tie-dye shirts. And then I just take some bleach and I pour it on the sections that I want to be bleached, just how you tie-dye any regular shirt if you ever tie-dyed anything. I try to get the bleach on both sides of it so it seeps through. And rinsing it with warm water first will help the bleach just seep through it. That's the only reason why you do it. And so here I am just pouring the bleach on the black. And this happens pretty fast. It'll start turning the black really fast. In a few seconds, you'll see I had literally just poured the bleach on there and it already started getting lighter. And so I transferred it from one plastic bag to the other so the excess bleach doesn't get where I don't want it to be. And as you can see, it's already turning into that like burnt orange situation. So after about 30 minutes, I finally untied the rubber bands. And as you can see, it came out way better than I thought it was. And then I just rinsed it with cold water and threw it in the dryer. Okay, and this is how it looks on my roommate Zion. As you can see, she's much smaller than me, so the shirt is a tad bit longer on her. I mean, it's still kind of short, but it's a little bit longer on her than it was on me. So yeah, this is just the final result. Thank you guys so much for watching.